Rodgers, and we are in a Black Hawk helicopter en route for the flyover at Kroger Field, and somehow the guy that's scared of heights drew the short stick, but I'm in good hands with the 8229 Assault Helicopter Battalion. And speaking of flying high, nobody flying higher right now than Jalen Milroe. It'll be up to Kentucky's defense to try to keep him grounded. Tess, I might be a few minutes late, but take it from here.
I love it, Jordan. Bring it on in, Jordan Rodgers. What a perfect way to celebrate Veterans Day. Those rotors roaring to start an SEC Saturday that could define the season. And inside Kroger Field, well, it is ESPN College Football presented by Zales. Veterans Week on ESPN presented by USAA. The roar of the Blackhawks, just the beginning of what we expect to be a hostile environment for number 8 Alabama facing a Kentucky team that plans to match their physicality. Glad you're with us to start this college football Saturday. Joe Tessitore here in the booth. Alabama wins today, and they clinch the SEC West. Now keep in mind, this is a Bama team that was filled with doubts back in mid-September. A Bama team that lost to Texas. A Bama team that benched their starting quarterback in week 3. But Katie George, things are much different now. The dynamic, athletic quarterback Jalen Milroe has evolved into a force.
Yeah, he has, Tess. Nick Saban told us that at the beginning of the year they were trying to do things on offense that they had done in the past. The only problem is Jalen Milroe is unlike the Alabama quarterbacks of the past, so he struggled. The other quarterbacks were not the answer. So Nick Saban said, we got our heads together and we decided Milroe gives us our best chance to win. We will build the offense around him, and boy, have they. Tommy Rees told us that what they're running now did not even exist in the offense 3 weeks ago, and it has made all the difference in the world. Milroe is confident, comfortable, and playing his best football right now.
He is indeed, coming off that 4 rushing touchdown performance against LSU. Kentucky won the toss. They elect to defer. Only 2 wins all time does Kentucky have against Bama. The last right here back in 1997. Kendrick Law back to receive the chance for kickoff. And this is Williams from inside the 5, and Williams struggling to get back to the 20-yard line. As welcome back to solid ground, Jordan Rodgers. Hey, Maverick, I like the look,
my man. Once you're in a Black Hawk helicopter, you get to be in the Aviator family for good.
Glad you're with us. Jesse Palmer finishing up some ABC duty, so Jordan joins us in the booth once again. The Kentucky defense has quite the challenge against Milroe today.
No doubt, and they play a lot of zone coverage, so a lot of eyes will be on Jalen Milroe, but watch Trevin Wallace and De'Eric Jackson, 2 linebackers for Kentucky that have to make sure he doesn't run all over the place like we saw last week against LSU.
A more decisive runner now, indeed, at this point of the season. And here is Milroe to open up the game, extending the play, and this is where he's most dangerous as he was tracked down from behind by J.J. Weaver.
Yeah, and a matchup to watch that left tackle, Caden Proctor. A little early pressure on Jalen Milroe, but does what he does best, picking up some yards when the play breaks down.
Five-yard run by Milroe. Jace McClellan in the backfield for the Tide. And he will get the handoff here, and only able to garner 3 yards as De'Eric Jackson makes the tackle. Katie.
Tess, unfortunately for Alabama, Jermaine Burton, wide receiver, woke up, was not feeling well, so he will miss today's game. He is a talented offensive weapon, not in the arsenal for Alabama's offense today.
Now on the other side, you see that Andrew Phillips is out defensively for Kentucky, and they're going to miss him, Jordan.
Well, and Jermaine Burton was the go-to guy on 3rd down situations like this right here, so who does that become? A Kendrick Law, a Malik Benson? Let's see who they start to target.
3rd down and 3. McClellan straight ahead, and with that drive, he picks up the 1st down.
And this will be the story, right? Talking to Mark Stoops yesterday, he mentioned physicality. That's something we have to match this Alabama team for 4 quarters. Starts up front for this Kentucky defensive line, all behind Deion Walker, one of the best defensive linemen in the entire country, number 0. Keep an eye on him up front. But the trenches are going to dictate this game.
Listen, physicality is what Mark Stoops' teams have been known through the years with. Matching up against Bama in this version, a little bit of a bigger task. Milroe going to check down to McClellan out of the backfield, and he's able to get a few yards before he's met by the very athletic Trevin Wallace.
Boy, again, second time dialing up a pass play for Tommy Rees in this offense. Second time a little bit of pressure. That time on the right side of the offensive line from J.J. Weaver. Had Amari Niblack open actually on a deep over route, but Kentucky early getting a lot of pressure on number 4.
Second and 6. Milroe has to cut back against the green, and that is exactly what we talk about in terms of being a decisive runner. When he squares the shoulders, he's upfield. You see him limping and favoring his left leg.
Boy, again, watch the flow of these linebackers over the top. Yeah, see, he sticks his foot in the ground, gets north and south, but might have taken a hit, a shot right to the thigh. The end of that play, look at this. As soon as he decides to get north and south, nobody more dangerous than Milroe, but watch the end of that play, right on that left thigh. I've been hit there before too, and it is, you can't feel your entire leg. It's like a Charlie horse on steroids. You get hit right in that IT band, right on the left side, outside of that quad, and just, it's tough to put any weight on the leg there if that's indeed what happened.
It was Ty Bryant, the freshman safety for Kentucky, who met him, and now you see Ty Simpson, the redshirt freshman quarterback, warming up. Jalen Milroe, who is as hot as any player in college football in recent weeks, and you see his mom Lola and his dad Quentin. They are concerned as they look on, and coming off by far the best game of his career. The single game record for touchdowns by an Alabama quarterback, had 155 yards rushing last week against LSU.
Yeah, and this offense has completely changed, starting really that Texas A&M week as you see Milroe get up, still a little gimpy on that left leg. But they have started to win because of Jalen Milroe, not with Jalen Milroe. And I think that's been the difference, adapting the offense around him to fit his strengths. But now, with a pocket passing quarterback coming in, got to go back to some of that offense that you started the season with.
So Ty Simpson in at quarterback on this opening drive. Ty Simpson, who in week 3 was the 3rd string quarterback, came off the bench to rally Alabama for the win at USF. We'll give it to Williams, and much of that inside clogged up by that big defensive front of Kentucky. And Milroe comes right back out there, so takes the hit to the leg, absent for one play, and fortunately for Bama, Jalen's right back out there.
I think the play calling the next couple plays will tell you a lot about how they feel where he's at. Is he back close to 100%? Can he take off on some of those runs?
Milroe gets it to Williams out of the backfield. Williams met immediately that time by Maxwell Hairston.
Nice little quick throw, try to get him back in rhythm. And a big 3rd down here for Kentucky's defense. Trying to get some momentum early, get this crowd into it.
Third and 4. Milroe with time, goes to the outside and gets it complete to Prentice. First down, Tide.
Boy, and a great job. Coming back to the ball here, Jace McClellan in the backfield. Watch the block by number 2. Right up the middle, and then here's what I was mentioning. Kobe Prentice coming back to that ball, so the defender can't cut that off.
A timeout is going to be used by Kentucky. So Jalen Milroe steps out for a moment, but he's 3 for 3 to start the game. Opening drive for number 8 Alabama. Glad you're with us watching the SEC on ESPN. Alabama in the midst of an 8-play opening drive.
But I mentioned how much this offense has changed around Jalen Milroe's strengths. It starts with design quarterback runs, not as many pure zone reads where he has an option to keep it or give it. It is
get the ball in your athlete's hands, get them on the edge, get them in space, and flood concepts. What does that mean? Take 1, 2, or 3 routes, put them in one area of the field. So Jalen Milroe can keep everything in his vision, doesn't have to go from one side to the other, simplify the passing game, and he's playing better.
This is Kendrick Law. And Law able to break a tackle, and this is a very interesting part of the offense in recent weeks. An expanded offensive role for Kendrick Law.
Well, he's kind of like a Deebo Samuel kind of player, right? He looks like a linebacker or a running back, but he's a wide receiver. They're going to find a lot of ways to get him involved in the backfield, in the slot, as a blocker. I expect that package to expand.
And he stays in the backfield here on first down. And it's a good pass for a touchdown to Amari Niblack. Jalen Milroe is blossoming. A more instinctive, decisive runner now, and it's benefiting the passing game. As you just pointed out, trimming down and adding to with other concepts. The playbook for Milroe, and Tommy Rees in this offense comes right out with a 10-play, well-designed drive and a touchdown pass. Milroe to Niblack.
Well, simplifying the offense, giving 1 or 2 reads for Jalen Milroe, and look how quickly he's blossomed. As you mentioned, he's going to look to the left. This wheel route right there is going to pull that safety, and that beater route or that post route by Niblack right down the middle, unguarded. Great job with his eyes. Great play design by Tommy Rees, and Alabama on the board early.
Week coverage on ESPN, brought to you by USAA.
Alabama offense right down the field. Jalen Milroe to Amari Niblack, a 26-yard touchdown. Joe Tessitore with Jordan Rogers, who's in for Jesse Palmer, and Katie George down on the field. Alabama wins the SEC West with a win here at Kentucky. Milroe took a big hit to the leg on that opening drive, came right back in after missing one play. A beautiful pass to Niblack for the touchdown. Here is Brown from the goal line. Excellent special teams coverage by Bama near the 15-yard line. And it has been an up, down, and all-around year for Kentucky quarterback Devin Leary. Was at his best a few weeks ago against Tennessee, went for 372 yards. What will he offer up today?
Well, he's been improving, right? The numbers showed it against Tennessee. They might not have showed it last week. Not huge numbers, but he's protecting the football, making better decisions. And just like Tommy Rees changing the offense for Milroe, Liam Cohen has adjusted a lot of this Kentucky offense to help Devin Leary play faster and more confident.
He trimmed a lot of the inventory, but they have this guy, Ray Davis, who keeps his balance out to the 21-yard line. Ray Davis, who comes in with 903 yards rushing and has the chance to be a 1,000-yard rusher at his third different school.
Yeah, and you're seeing why he's second in the SEC and he averaging 6.1 yards per attempt, because you can't bring him down with the first guy, right? He bounces off that first tackle. His yards after contact are ridiculous. One of the things Kevin Steele mentioned, we got to bring him down with 2 or 3 guys.
Second and 5, nothing there on the outside as Jahad Campbell makes the tackle. Jahad Campbell, who is in for Deontay Lawson, who's a very talented inside linebacker. So you look at the defense for Alabama, and they're without 2 key players. Jalen Key, the free safety, and Deontay Lawson, who really quarterbacks and makes the front calls for Nick Saban and Kevin Steele's defense.
Yeah, that's why you worry about some of the play action that Kentucky does. Can they get behind these linebackers with a sail route or find a way to attack the middle of the field? As you see Caleb Downs showing pressure off the edge here.
They're down in 6. And they're able to get to Leary and then just thrown back by Chris Braswell. Chris Braswell just ragdolled Devin Leary.
Boy, great games. We mentioned Caleb Downs coming off the left side of the line of scrimmage, and they're going to loop the end here to provide the pressure on Leary. Great job knowing that Kentucky's going to have to push the ball downfield, and Braswell was right there to clean it up. Boy, this defense will throw so much at you in the pressure game.
Wilson-Berry from his own end zone punting away. Kool-Aid McKinstry at midfield could put the Tide in prime position with field position for their second offensive possession. Instead, it takes a big Kentucky bounce, and it goes to the 43-yard line of the Tide.
The ever-evolving story here is going to be just how much is that hit on Jalen Milroe affect the play calling, right? I mean, I showed earlier a lot more design quarterback runs, a lot more flood concepts. We'll get into that a little bit more. He's definitely playing better as a passer, but a lot of that has been because of the threat of him running the football. If they don't have that, how does this offense adapt?
And running the football with planned quarterback runs, especially to the perimeter, which has been opening up passing lanes in recent weeks. Let's watch for it here. Play action. Milroe, look at the time he has, and then is able to get it complete as he connects with Isaiah Bond, who leads the team in receptions. Katie.
Tess, as expected, Jalen Milroe spent the entire Kentucky series in the medical tent receiving treatment. He came out, went through a couple of warm-ups, gave a big thumbs up to his teammates as he went back out on the field.
Milroe 6 for 6 passing to open up this game. McClellan. He goes nowhere as big Deion Walker at 348 pounds, but yet elite mobility tracks him down.
Yeah, another thing to note as Milroe continues to pick apart the secondary a little bit is no Andrew Phillips, right? He's their field corner, so J.Q. Hardaway, big 6'3", 6'4" corner, is going to be out there playing a lot of the field, was in on that last tackle. But again, no Jermaine Burt, but also Kentucky dealing with injuries in the secondary on the other side as well.
Andrew Phillips is a big loss. He's an NFL caliber nickel in that defensive backfield for Kentucky. Jam Miller is the running back. Play action. Milroe will run here, and Milroe struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Oh, there's J.Q. Hardaway. Just mentioned his name, filling in for Andrew Phillips, tackling on the perimeter. Didn't take him long to go back to a design quarterback run there for Milroe. Not sure he had the same burst as I'm used to seeing.
No. Remember that hit to the left thigh on the opening series. And now a 3rd and 12. Three-man rush. They drop 8 against Milroe. Lofts it downfield. Wide open and score it. Tied. Kobe Prentice. You can hit him in that left thigh all you want, but Milroe is unaffected with the arm. He is on fire. 7 of 7, 2 touchdown passes to open this game.
You can't start any better than that, right? All of our attention on Milroe's thigh, but watch this sail route find this opening here, and because the quarterback steps up, because Milroe steps up, you see the secondary. They step up as well, and they forget about the guy running right behind them. That's the threat of the legs of Milroe.
They have a 3 for 3 on 3rd downs and a 2-touchdown lead early here in the Bluegrass State.
ESPN College Football is presented by Zales, the Diamond Store. Love real. And in part by Progressive Insurance, the right call for your home and car.
Well, senior day at Kentucky, 19 seniors, 5 super seniors, and that superstar, Ray Davis, who received the loudest reception. Only been here for 1 year, but his life story and what he's been able to do on the field, it is greatly appreciated. Here's Brown from the 2-yard line. And again, Brown struggling to find something. The story of Ray Davis is something. He's bounced in and out of foster care growing up in the Bay Area of California. His birth parents were in and out of prison. And then he had the opportunity to go to boarding school on the Connecticut-New York border. Went to TP there, had success, did a postgraduate year in New Jersey at Blair Academy, was recruited by many schools, landed at Temple, where he rushes for 1,000 yards. He's able to go on and move to Vanderbilt, where he gets his degree, rushes for 1,000 yards, and now finishing up his college football career here at Kentucky, where he's on the verge of having 1,000 yards.
Pretty amazing, right? The resilience of him for his entire life, let alone just his collegiate football career. But he is exactly what Kentucky needed. Replacing a guy like Chris Rodriguez that was a bruiser. Kentucky needs a running back that can get downhill, break tackles, and that is who Ray Davis is.
Katie?
You know, guys, he'll tell you when he was 5, 6, 7 years old, he wasn't dreaming of playing football. He says at that time, he was just consumed with finding a place to sleep and just trying to get through every day. It wasn't until he was in high school that he realized he was good enough to pursue football at the collegiate level. He says he hopes his story will resonate with people, and especially young kids. He says if people start to say, hey, if he can make it, so can I, that he'll have fulfilled his purpose in this life.
Beautiful story. Jace Bruner was banged up at the end of that kickoff return, so they're helping him off the field. You know, you look up at the scoreboard all of a sudden and you see 14-zip, and you think about how Kentucky wants to define themselves offensively. Not the kind of pace of game they're looking for.
No, they're not a team that's built to play from behind, right? Because a majority of their pass game is built off of the play action. It's built off of the run game getting going. So important for Mark Stoops and Liam Cohen right now to actually not look up at the scoreboard. Don't panic, right? You've only ran 3 plays, right? Get back to that initial script. And I saw Liam in the elevator on the way up here after I was on the Blackhawk, and he was going through a script. He liked a lot of it. He wanted to get the run game going so he could set up the play action. Don't abandon that just because you're down 2 scores.
By the way, how awesome was it? It was Veterans Day, and you're up there in an Army Blackhawk helicopter.
They had me in the seat with the door open the whole way, and I am afraid of heights. Yeah. That's a real thing. So it took a minute to loosen up, but it was pretty awesome.
What can Devin Leary and the Cats find offensively? Leary, quick strike to the outside. Ball is out. Ball is scooped. Caleb Downs reaching for the end zone and ruled down at the 1-yard line. It was Berrien Brown who coughed it up. And Caleb Downs, the sensational freshman, that guy is just different. Quick to get on it.
Always in the right place at the right time, but we didn't see if Berrien Brown had this. Looks like he bobbles it a little bit as he's turning. Did he get complete control? Terrion Arnold there, the corner, punching that ball out. Great heads-up play. This Kentucky team has struggled with drops on the outside, Berrien Brown and Dane Key. They've struggled with ball security. And if that indeed is a fumble, and it looked like it is, a huge blow to Kentucky, as we just mentioned, trying to just get back on track in this game. It looked like he initially bobbled it, but as he was kind of bent over it, it looked like he had firm control there. So that's just an unbelievable play by Terrion Arnold.
And it's no surprise as they go with the tush-push straight ahead in for the touchdown. It's no surprise that it was Caleb Downs who was right on top of it, as Jalen Milroe scores yet another rushing touchdown, his 10th of the year, and he is limping more substantially. Remember, he took the big hit on the opening drive.
Boy, getting helped off the field there, too. Is that Amari Niblack there helping him off? And again, I mentioned I've had that injury, and it is almost debilitating. You know, once you realize you're trying to put force off that leg, just can't. So just keep an eye on how that progresses.
Extra point by Reichert goes through. Well, listen, you cannot say enough about Caleb Downs, who put them in position right on the doorstep to punch that in. It's a true freshman who acts like he's a 25-year-old, a professional football player, and that has been the way from day one. His experience exceeds anything. So aware to jump on this football.
Well, he's so instinctive for a freshman, right? In high school, played wildcat, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, free safety. He's a football player. And I remember being here in spring talking to Kevin Steele, and Kevin said, as you see the tush-push that paid off the turnover and the touchdown there, Kevin Steele said, look, if we had a game tomorrow against LSU, Caleb Downs would be a starter and might be our best player. And that was a true freshman in the spring.
Right. It's incredible to say that. The guy who just lives and breathes football, knows the defense inside out. Jalen Milroe, a perfect 7 of 7 with 2 passing touchdowns, and then the 1-yard touchdown run a moment ago. So 3 total touchdowns for Milroe. take the chance to check in with the studio and Matt.
Joe, thank you. Good afternoon. Time now for our AT&T keeping you connected with our multi-view this afternoon. The early window has some action around the country, including Georgia Tech up early on Clemson. Virginia Tech, they're up early on a good Boston College team that's started their season at 6-3. Rainy in Columbia, South Carolina, and Tulane up early on Tulsa. Active noon window, gentlemen.
It is indeed. Should be a fun day of college football. Last week was sensational, especially in the noon window. Here we've got a 3-touchdown lead for Alabama in this Kentucky offense that's run 4 plays, -7 yards. Play action. Leary with a man in his face downfield and too far to the outside of the intended target, Jordan Dingle.
You want to have this same conversation of, hey, we can't panic, right?
Yeah.
There's still 5 minutes left in the first quarter. That's the 5th play for Kentucky. So I know it feels like you want to try to get back all the 21 points with a couple plays, but you can't do that, right? We saw the protection breakdown there on a deep play action. They got to get back to running the football, ball control through the air to try to get a drive going here.
Pre-snap penalty against Kentucky.
Start. Offense number 6, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Shows you some of those stats of just comparing the two offenses early on. You can also add to the list the average yards per play, as Kentucky is -1.4 and Alabama's averaging 9.1 yards per play.
Yeah, Tess, not an ideal start here for Kentucky. I think probably a worst case scenario start. But again, let's see if they can just get a few positive plays and get a drive started.
2nd and 15 after the penalty. Leary drives the ball incomplete to the inside of Tavion Robinson.
Yeah, pressure again in the face of Devin Leary. Saw that last play on a longer developing pass play that time. Trying to get something going over the middle. This offensive line has been improved for Kentucky. They're better than they were at times towards the end of last year, but this Alabama defensive front is something else.
Isn't it? With Braswell and Turner coming off the edge, and on down and distance like this, watch out for that guy, Chris Braswell. 3rd in the SEC in sacks. Of course, Dallas Turner on the other side. Leary, shallow cross, goes underneath to Ray Davis, who's going to be 4.5 yards short of the line to gain. Kool-Aid McKinstry with the tackle. So Wilson Berry, the 25-year-old punter, who played 3 seasons of Aussie rules football, back out there again. Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to put his heels on the 30. Ball is muffed. And was there a recovery? I think the ball went out of bounds there before Kentucky had the chance to recover. The officials going to get together for a moment. And they're saying Kentucky football. Wow. So they get a break on special teams. A muffed punt and a recovery by the Cats.
Yeah, just a miss here by Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's always so sure-handed. That one right through the breadbasket. And watch, I think it's Addison right here.
That's close.
That falls on that. That is really close.
That is Nasir Addison, the reserve defensive back, but this is very close.
Running on the field, the punt was muffed by the receiving team and recovered by the kicking team prior to being out of bounds. The previous play is under review.
Now listen, do they have the indisputable video evidence to overturn this? The ruling on the field is that at that moment right there, he secures it.
Looks like that first part that comes out of bounds is that right shoulder, right? The elbow as he's going down for the ball, that's all in bounds. But from that angle and from this angle, really tough to tell when he actually has secure possession of that ball. Here's a good look at it.
A tremendous hustle play by Addison.
I think that's going to stand. I don't know if we have enough to say, because the right shoulder is the first thing that comes out of bounds. Right there, he's got the ball. Bam! That's the first thing that hits out of bounds. Does he have control right here? Watch the right arm scoop that ball.
And remember, as soon as he does, he's down at that moment. So
is this possession right here before that shoulder hits the ground? I think it is.
What an excellent job by our production truck with the
great shot.
We appreciate the efforts that they do in spots like this. Tom Schofield in manning that front bench today for our regular producer, Scott Matthews, who we send our condolences to the entire Matthews family for the loss that they are grieving. Our thoughts are with you, Scotty. 21-0 Alabama on top of Kentucky. Bama defense has been doing their job, and then all of a sudden a miscue on special teams, and Kentucky jumps on the muff punt. Addison was able to get there. Ruling on the field is that it was recovered and it is Kentucky's ball. But they're taking as many looks as possible here.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Kentucky.
And they needed that desperately. And that's the first time with that play that Kentucky is in Bama territory today.
And on life support early in this game, you felt like something like that had to happen for Kentucky to get a little confidence, get a little something going in their way early in this game, because it's been all Alabama. Now a really important first couple play calls here for Liam Cohen in this offense. Haven't been able to get anything going.
So they take over at the Alabama 32. Davis trying to get the edge and find anything at all, as Davis was able to turn the corner before he is met by Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs, who had the fumble return that set up the most recent touchdown.
Want to remember, with all these shifts and motions, Kevin Steele even mentioned, man, when I flip on the tape, it looked like Canadian football with how much they move pre-snap. No Deontay Lawson, so Jihad Campbell, Tresman Marshall, guys that are calling out the adjustments, as you see Barryon Brown moving in motion to a formation into the boundary.
Davis again after he just went for 5 yards, and Davis will go for 6 this time and have a first down for Kentucky. And that is Kentucky's first down of the day.
Yeah, and I mentioned formation into the boundary. What does that mean? When you stick your passing strength and your receivers into the boundary, that takes number 13 right there, making the tackle, Malachi Moore, that sticks him into the boundary. So a lot of times Kentucky's going to want to say, okay, 13, Malachi Moore, let's put you over here so we can run the opposite direction.
The man in the white hat and shades is the 37-year-old play caller Liam Cohen, who returned this year. His second stint here at Kentucky, and Coach Stoops spent a year with the Rams and Sean McVay. Quick strike, batted back, and I think Leary had that one moment of, do I try to catch it? No, I don't think so.
Never.
It's an incompletion.
Never a good idea.
At 3:30 on ABC today, it'll be the rivalry game between Miami and a Florida State team that is aimed for the college football playoff. And then tonight in the SEC, 7 o'clock on ESPN, number 9 Ole Miss, number 2 Georgia. What a game that should be. Of course, we were in Oxford last week. We were with the program, sizing up what could be an incredible run for Ole Miss.
Boy, and they're going to need a lot of Trey Harris, as we saw last week, making plays all over the field to run 4 quarters with Georgia.
2nd and 10, Davis cuts back against the grain, and Davis will make it a 3rd and somewhat more manageable as he's tackled by Dallas Turner. See Jalen Milroe trying to keep that left leg warm and the blood flow after he took that big hit to the thigh on the opening series, but he has been flawless to put the Tide up in front, 3 touchdowns. 3rd and 5 for the Cats.
A little bit of a passing situation. Keep an eye on Dallas Turner on the left side right there. He's been in the backfield in Devin Leary's face a few times already.
Here he comes. Takes an inside move in his face again. To the end zone they go. And nearly a sensational catch, but drawing the penalty flag is Barryon Brown as he was locked up with Caleb Downs.
Pass interference, defense number 2. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Well, it actually worked against Alabama, the fact that there was pressure on Leary, because that ball is supposed to be on the outside shoulder, but Dallas Turner in Leary's face, so he underthrows it, and he throws it inside And that really messes with the leverage on the outside right there, and that's why you have a pass interference.
It's so funny. I mean, with game of inches and such a nuanced piece of analysis by you, Jordan, but Dallas Turner doing his job well cost them on the back end. First and goal, Cats. A gotta-have-it moment after the turnover, the muff punt that was recovered by Addison. Ray Davis with 9 rushing touchdowns on the year. Do we hear 10? Short pitch. Blockers on front, but look at the pursuit by Alabama as Jaheim Otis drives him back.
Otis in there big time, and Kool-Aid McKinstry, who muffed that punt that gave Kentucky the field position in this drive, making the tackle on the outside. Great job by Otis. Great job by Kool-Aid McKinstry. Otis is a big man,
isn't he? He was
started
much bigger. Yeah,
417.
He was 417 pounds in January of 2022. The guy has lost 100 pounds. Second and goal, play action. Leary to the outside. Touchdown, Kentucky. Tavion Robinson.
Boy, that was the answer that Kentucky needed, huh? Again, Kool-Aid McKinstry muffing the punt, set up the drive for Kentucky when they were on life support early in this game. And the answer that they needed.
The offense was going nowhere. It took a special teams miscue and a hustle play by Nazir Addison to spark things, as Alex Rayner adds the extra point. As you said, they had to have it. They were desperate. They got it. They made the most of that drive, leaned on Ray Davis, who is 16 yards rushing all of a sudden.
Well, watch the motion. You're going to see Tavion Robinson come all the way across the formation, and watch Terrion Arnold weaving, trying to get around guys to follow him. That's what creates the opening. Look at number 3, weaving all around guys. That's a great job of Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator, dialing up motions to create openings when you know it's going to be man coverage in the low red zone.
He gets it to the veteran Robinson, who transferred here from Virginia Tech. And after his career at Virginia Tech and what he's been able to do here, he has the 15th most career receiving yards among active players, over 2,500 yards, and he gets his 4th touchdown of the season. It comes against Alabama. Jalen Milroe, who moments ago scored his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. Of course, a sensational performance last week against LSU. Not just scoring, but what he was able to do on third downs was 11 of 14, being so consistent with that offense. Taking it out is Law, Kendrick Law from the end zone. Tied back on offense as we check in with Matt Berry and the guys in studio. Matt?
Joe, we got a touchdown in Michigan, Penn State. Penn State up 3-0. Blake Corum, his standard 3-yard touchdown run to give the Wolverines a 7-3 lead in the second.
Michigan football has been basically every headline, every news headline in the country this week. What's your thumbnail sketch reaction to what went down?
I don't even know what to think, honestly. I'm being honest.
Fair?
I don't think it changes the game much to have Harbaugh be able to coach and just not there on the sideline. So a rush to reaction, a punishment.
There's been a lot of that.
Who knows if it was worth it or not.
Milroe, plenty of time to choose an option. And he goes to the outside looking for Prentice, but wasn't able to connect. SEC Conference Spotlight is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet.
Georgia with a big opportunity today. They'll clinch with that win or a Tennessee loss, and if they don't win, they got Tennessee next week. That's going to be a huge one, and Alabama is here with a chance to lock it up as well.
That was Milroe's first incompletion moments ago. Now he looks to the right side as he goes underneath the Benson as a penalty flag comes down. And Benson is at the 30-yard line. Malik Benson was one of the big JUCO transfer targets nationally.
And thought he might develop into a bigger role this year.
Yes, they did.
Almost like a Jamison Williams type, right? He's a 10'4", 100-meter guy in Kansas, top 10 all-time in the state. He can fly.
You always feel like Alabama is just, casting the roles that they know.
Yes. Pass interference, offense number 81. Personal foul, defense number 54 with a face mask. Those fouls will offset. We'll replay the down. It's second down.
So they always sit there. They say, okay, who's our burner?
Yep.
Who's our go route guy? Who's our big-bodied possession guy? And that was the role that they figured Benson would take. Kendrick Law, I find very interesting in what he's developing into with this receiver group.
They're going to see Dupree there, little contact. At the end of all that, let's just try this again.
So 2nd and 10, Miller in the backfield with Milroe. And here is Jam. And he finds a good crease before he is tackled by Trevin Wallace. Jam Miller, who last week against LSU, Jordan, he was in on 13 plays, and that's the most playing time he has received. But he was very good in pass protection, and as a receiving back, had a 35-yard catch in the second quarter of that game.
Yeah, he's a guy that I think has surprised this staff a little bit. Caught him on that big wheel route on 3rd down, like you mentioned, but big 3rd down here for this Kentucky defense. And with Milroe maybe a little hobbled, do they decide to bring pressure?
Let's see if they come after Jalen Milroe.
They're walking around like they are. They might drop out of this, though.
3rd down and 4, closing moments of the first quarter. Downfield again, and going up for it, but incomplete was Hale. And coverage came from Hairston.
And about as tight a coverage as you can have from Maxwell Hairston. Leads the SEC with 5 interceptions that time. All over it, breaking up the pass.
21-7 tie. Hey, tomorrow, Sunday NFL Countdown. All the early breaking stories, injury updates. That's 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Then Monday Night Football is Broncos-Bills in Buffalo, 8 o'clock on ABC and ESPN. E2 is going to give you the Mannings. They actually put 6 seconds back on the clock in the first quarter. First 3rd down, Bama hadn't converted all day long as they punt away. And the fair catch by Robinson around the 11-yard line moments ago. Katie with Coach Saban.
Coach Saban, there was a lot to like about that first quarter. What did you think of your team start?
Well, I liked the way we started. We did a great job on offense, executing down the field. We got out of the 2 drives on defense, but then we made a big turnover, which changed the momentum around the game a little bit. So we got to get it back, which we had the opportunity there in that series on offense and didn't do anything with it.
Thank you for the time.
Joe Tessitore and Jordan Rogers in for Jesse Palmer again. Love having you, Jordan. And yesterday we had a great visit with Coach Saban. 17 years into his all-time great run at Bama. And we got the sense he loves coaching this team, this group specifically.
No doubt. I think this group, he mentioned, had something to prove. I think groups in past either had the lofty expectations of they were going to be back in the national title race or had a Heisman-type quarterback like a Bryce Young. This group, everyone kind of overlooked a little bit. And I think he loved that the team embraced that, had something to prove, had a chip on their shoulder. So anytime Coach Saban, when he's sitting with us, gives just a little bit of a smirk, you know he really likes something. And he did that a few times talking about this team.
Yeah, he used the phrase that they manage hard well. Now listen, adversity, it grows strength, it grows character. They had adversity right in September, right at the beginning of the season.
I think it was interesting him talking through that, referencing last year's team, how moments against LSU, they fell apart in the fourth quarter, and how this team just continues to find ways to make plays in those big moments in the fourth quarter. And with guys that don't fit the mold that I think he's had in the past.
Obviously, what he's had in the past is all-time superstar player. Especially in recent years, you have one playing quarterback, and then you got the best defensive player in the entire sport. Now you got a group where you don't have those kind of guys. You got a lot of 5-stars and 4-stars everywhere you look, but you got a group that listens, learns, responds.
I think it's one of the best coaching jobs I've seen by Nick Saban. Partly also because he's handed the reins of this offense over to 31-year-old Tommy Rees.
Yes.
When Bill O'Brien came here as an established NFL head coach, established big-time college coach, and Bill had a tough time changing the offense. because you come here, you run Nick Saban's system. But Tommy has adapted things, and one of the best jobs by Nick Saban allowing his coaches to do that.
Ray Davis spins for just a couple of yards. It was McKinstry who was first to get to him.
This is where we're going to start to learn how much this offense, really specifically the pass game, has changed for Kentucky. The calls that Liam Cohen starts to make, what he feels his quarterback can execute and is most comfortable with, because they're going to need him to get hot to jump back in this game.
Second and 8. Leary checks down to Davis, and Davis slips up as he was trying to cut back against the grain.
Gosh, more pressure, just running a little bit of a game on the left side of the offensive line. It's going to be looping once again. This time, the Boygby comes through as the guy that's kind of the, I'm going to take up two bodies. Right. He gets an opening, ends up getting a beeline to the quarterback.
He's not supposed to be the guy that gets there.
He's
supposed
the
to be the, exactly. That's the TE. It's supposed to be the end who gets in there, the outside edge rusher. 3rd down and 7.
3rd down, obvious passing situations. Braswell off the edge in the bottom here.
Goes to the near side, gets it complete, but it's going to be 3 yards shy of the lane to gain as Terrion Arnold was quickly on Robinson.
Just great coverage. Plastered all over Robinson. Arnold plays outside at corner. He'll move inside to that star position with some of the injuries. The Jalen Key injury. 3rd downs, he'll move inside. Such a versatile player.
3rd 3 and out for Kentucky. Remember, McKinstry had the muff punt moments ago that led to Kentucky's score. Barry on to punt again. Fair catch inside the 40-yard line. 21-7. Number 8 team in the country trying to win the SEC West today. Nick Saban's been talking about how obvious it is that Jalen Milroe is more confident as a passer. Well, look at the road test brought to you by Goodyear.
Boy, when you give him a clean pocket and 1 to 2 reads, great design by Tommy Reese. Nyblak running down the middle of the field, wide open, great in-rhythm throw. And these are the second reaction throws that early this season he might have taken off and run with that one. Instead, keeps his eyes downfield, and then such a physical runner in the short yardage situations.
3 total touchdowns for Milroe. Tackle for loss. Big Deion Walker shredding down McClellan. Katie.
You know, Tess, Jalen Milroe's father, Quentin, was a Marine. His mother, Lola, served in the Navy, so military core values were very much a part of Jalen's upbringing. He said his parents never sugarcoated anything, so when he was benched after the Texas loss, his parents told him, time stops for no one. Life goes on. You can waste time feeling sorry for yourself, or you can address the problem head on, learn from it, and grow. And boy, did he. His teammates, his coaches applauded the way that this young man responded.
Great messaging. They fake the short pitch, and then he connects with Dupree. C.J. Dupree. And a great play by Jalen Milroe as he fakes the short pitch and then hits it over the middle.
Boy, watch how it affects the linebacker as they suck up. See him trying to get back into position there. Trevin Wallace just too late with Dupree running right by him.
This is Benson, and Benson tips-toes the sidelines as they were quick to get to the line and snap that ball. And now you see the rhythm and tempo of Alabama.
Yeah, watch this linebacker suck up and then try to get back into position there. Great job with the play action.
That was a 15-yard reception by Benson. McClellan showing a little bit of toughness on the inside there as Deion Walker wrestles him again.
And Deion Walker is a guy that he's got to take over a game, right? He is absolutely capable of it. Talking to defensive coordinator Brad White, said, look, when he's at his best, he is one of, if not the best defensive lineman in the entire country, and that's valid. That is true. It's the plays where he either takes it off or catches a breather at times that they need more consistency out of him.
I love a big man when the jersey doesn't occupy as much space as the T-shirt underneath. That's when you know you're big, 348 pounds. 2nd and 7, design quarterback run. Milroe trying to get to the corner. Flag is down as he shows you that athleticism getting around the block of Jace McClellan. But we'll see if we walk this back as the flag is down at the 22-yard line.
Maybe too many guys on the line of scrimmage, or no, maybe not somebody off. I think it might have been a formation issue down here at the bottom with the flag.
2 fouls on the play, both on the offense. Illegal formation on the offense will be declined. Holding, number 65 of the offense. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Repeat, 2nd down.
It was indeed, as you said, the illegal formation, then the holding call.
Yeah, all these guys here kind of on the same level. Not enough guys on the line of scrimmage.
But
there.
these are the kind of plays that they now have in the playbook for Jalen Milroe. The designed quarterback runs to the perimeter, and it has changed this offense entirely.
Yeah, I think Tommy Rees mentioned on Thursday when we talked to him, I wanted to take some of the quick decisions off his plate, right? And just let him be an athlete, give him a couple lead blockers, get him to some green grass, and let him take over. And that's what they've done starting last week.
2nd and 17 after the penalty. Nyblack in motion. He had the 26-yard touchdown earlier. He looks that way. And now trying to direct traffic and gets it complete to Williams. And Williams is able to turn the corner and score it for Alabama. Jalen Milroe extending the play and finding Roy Dell Williams for a 27-yard touchdown.
And what were we just talking about? The running ability of Jalen Milroe. And what does that do? It means once he gets out on the perimeter, watch De'Aaron Jackson. He's going to be right on Miller. And he's going to have to decide, do I stay on him? Or excuse me, Roy Dell Williams, that was the running back. Do I stay on the running back or do I attack the athletic quarterback? He goes after Milroe. Williams wide open.
And Malik Benson held up his man for just a moment. Gave the talented Roy Dell Williams enough of a block, and Jalen Milroe, look at what he has turned into. The young man who was benched week 3 is now doing stuff like this.
And I mentioned they are winning because of him, not just with him. It's plays on the ground, it's plays through the air, and it's been all Jalen Milroe today early in Lexington, Kentucky.
ESPN College Football, presented by Zales, is brought to you by USAA. This Veterans Day, go beyond thanks to make a difference. And Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
We are overflowing with gratitude for all the veterans, from the Bama side to the Kentucky side. And here at Kroger Field, 2 veterans with us, the parents of the star quarterback, Lola and Quentin Milroe. And there is their son, who has 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown.
And this is what defensive coordinator Brad White mentioned. When he escapes the pocket, you have to designate a guy. Look at De'Aaron Jackson. He's got to stay on that guy, and he's got to allow Trevin Wallace to chase down Milroe. You can't leave your guy to go after the quarterback and leave a guy wide open for a touchdown. One of those things that's so difficult to coach out of guys, right? They see an athletic quarterback running, you want to go get him, but you got to let the spy or the designated linebacker for Milroe attack and stay in coverage.
Saw Nick Saban, who's coaching him up again. He's done such a good job of being decisive in recent weeks. Leary drives that ball well to Dane Key out to midfield. Let's go to Matt for an update.
Okay, here goes Michigan, Joe Tess, with Donovan Edwards. Not a Blake Corum show right now. And the Wolverines, just like that, up 14-3 over Penn State.
So Edwards with a touchdown, Blake Corum with a touchdown. J.J. McCarthy is 7 of 8 passing in that Big Ten showdown at Penn State. The 25-yard completion to Dane Key. Leary, shallow cross, able to get it as he goes to his tight end, Caddis. Caddis keeps his footing and dives ahead. Oh, excuse me, that is Brendan Bates, the other tight end. Excellent play by Bates.
Watch this action pull both these linebackers, and the tight end is just able to sneak right behind them. Liam Cohen, talking to him yesterday, actually mentioned we want to try to hide our tight end behind some of those running backs with some play action. That was an area they felt like they could attack this Alabama defense with some of the injuries at safety that they're dealing with.
Superb 33-yard reception from Bates. Talented senior, came out of Archbishop Moeller in Cincinnati. Leary to the end zone as Caleb Downs tried to reach up for it, incomplete. He was looking for Brown.
Boy, this is where, as a quarterback, you look up at the scoreboard and go, okay, we're down 3 touchdowns, need to start taking some chances, but that's a throw that Devin Leary's got to be careful. Still have to hold the football with high regard and protect it, especially when you're in field goal range, points you need to just stack up. Still got to make the right decisions and be aggressive. It's a hard balance.
So Mokongbe met at the line of scrimmage by Jahad Campbell, who had the big fourth quarter scoop and score against Tennessee. Dallas Turner involved as well. And now it's going to be 3rd down. 3rd and 10.
Well, the MO on 3rd down has been games for this Alabama defensive front. Not as much blitzing, but a lot of games getting Dallas Turner maybe on the inside. Chris Braswell maybe on the inside with some of those TE stunts. Let's see where they use Dallas Turner. He's going to start over that left tackle right there. See if they bring him back inside. Oh, they drop him.
3rd down and 10, checking down Ray Davis. Can he get there? Trying to split defenders, and he's unable to get to that line to gain as Story and Amos combine for the tackle.
That's all right. They got him in a situation where they can go for it here on 4th, and I think you absolutely have to, as Kentucky brings in 2 big tight ends. Alabama answers, bringing in Jaheim Otis. Their big body up front as well.
Kentucky's 1 of 7
Alabama
on 4th down this year.
Yeah, they were running guys on late there. They didn't have the right personnel package in. Nick Saban had to run over and grab that timeout quick.
So they use a timeout. Kentucky facing a 4th and 1 when we return to Lexington. Two longest tenured coaches in the SEC, 17 years for Saban, 11 years for Stoops, and now a 4th and 1 for Mark Stoops' team. I formation with Davis and Sumo Kongbe.
And they motioned out of this right before the tight end. Let's see, timeout. They do again.
4th down and 1, Leary in the shotgun. And he is sacked. He is brought down, and a turnover on downs as that Bama front just collapses on him. He threw the ball and it was batted back in his face, and he was able to secure it, and then he was taken down. It was a boom boom of the ball deflecting right back to him, and big Tim Keenan and Otis were right there.
Yeah, I think a Boygby maybe got his hands on it there, and again, there wasn't anything there. I don't think he was completing that throw even if it got through the line of scrimmage there. Interesting, right? You got Ray Davis, you got 3 tight ends in the game. You need just a little bit. And you trust your quarterback that is playing better last couple weeks, but this pass game has struggled.
Kentucky on the season is 1 of 8 on 4th down. And that's how they turn it over when they had a scoring opportunity. McClellan, look at Chase McClellan slither through. Excellent run by the senior from Aledo, Texas.
Yeah, this is where Alabama, I think, has got to start leaning on Kentucky a little bit. This is where that physicality that Mark Stoops mentioned yesterday, where Alabama gets a lead, then they want to just start bullying you up front.
8 yards from McClellan. Their leading rusher by a wide margin. Milroe, as he gets to the outside of the block and is able to extend it. He was just using Robbie Oots for a moment there. Which way will I go? And he goes to the outside where he's so dangerous with open space.
And again, one of those plays where Tommy Rees mentioned, I want to give the illusion of zone read. Look, that looks like zone read. It's not. He's not reading anybody. Robbie Oots is coming to block that guy that is unblocked. That is a quarterback run the entire way. And that injury that we saw earlier, maybe not having the impact that it looked like it might have early in the first quarter on Jalen Milroe.
Milroe with a man in his face. This ball is lofted downfield as Bond went up for it. And that is incomplete as he was juggling it out of bounds. Katie.
You know, Tess, between every series, Milroe is getting treatment on that left thigh. He's been on the bike multiple times. They've wrapped it with heat. They've wrapped it with stim. You guys know better than anybody there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. He is managing pain right now and playing for his team.
Yeah, he's hurt. And again, I've had that same injury. It's not fun. And you just got to continue to find ways to loosen it up because it gets tighter and tighter as the game goes on.
2nd and 10, Jace McClellan. There was nothing there from the start as the Kentucky front made the run fits with Ripka making the final tackle.
And this is where Kentucky wants to live, right? They want to force these 3rd and longs, but like we saw earlier, you have to be very cognizant of where Jalen Milroe goes, where he tries to escape the pocket if coverage is there. That's where he hurts you on these 3rd downs.
See Roydell Williams pointing out pass protection on that left side, 3rd down and 11.
And Kentucky's going to drop 8 here.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
In zone coverage, so a lot of eyes on Milroe. Let's see if he can find an opening.
They only bring 3. Delayed, though, on the near side as Milroe is being chased down, turns the corner, and that ball is intercepted. He went back across the grain, and Jordan Lovett picked it off. Jordan Lovett, who missed the last couple weeks, returns today and comes up big.
Well, this time they put a spy on Jalen Milroe. Oh, that's not him. Sorry, it was a defensive end that dropped out right there. That's what forced Milroe to get all the way to the sideline, and then you can't make that mistake, right? Nope. Laid across your body. That's day one stuff. You can't do it as a quarterback. And a huge play by Kentucky.
And you see the congratulations for Lovett. Just under 5 minutes before we get to Matt, Joey, and Coach Mullen in the studio, get you up to speed on everything happening elsewhere. But can Kentucky find something before the half? They had a golden opportunity, and then it was a turnover on downs on their last possession. Leary gets the ball out quickly to Brown.
Yeah, it's a massive drive here, right? You're down 3 scores, 4 minutes left. You don't need to have a huge sense of urgency. You'd love to tick away this clock, get points on the board. A touchdown would be great. Anything is awesome because you get the ball after half as well. A chance to double up here and really jump right back into this game starting in the second half.
Could have really built on some momentum if they had any points on that last drive. But now let's see what they come up with here. 2nd down and 5. Play action, Leary. It was tight coverage from Caleb Downs as he was looking for Tavion Robinson.
Boy, one of those sail routes, right, that Liam Cohen talked about so much last night, and Kevin White mentioned the tough part about these sail routes, there's no landmark, there's no depth. Tavion Robinson there is just searching for an area, trying to find an opening. And Caleb Downs just all over that. I mean, there was nowhere to throw that football. Great job of coverage there to force the incompletion.
Kentucky still looking for their first 3rd down conversion of the day. 3rd down and 5. Leary on the slant will get it to Dane Key. 1st down, Kentucky.
Boy, really confident throw there in a big moment for this Kentucky offense. I feel like Leary's getting a little confidence in the quick game, right? I feel like that's where Liam Cohen's going to get his quarterback back on track. They would like to hit those shot plays. They just haven't been there, so keep chipping away at this lead and picking up yards and 1st downs.
course, helps against the pass rush of Alabama with Turner and Braswell as well.
No doubt.
Davis testing the right side, and he was tripped up again by Caleb Downs. It's incredible, this true freshman. How many times you watch an Alabama game just this first half alone, you call his name. Had the big fumble return down to the 1-yard line earlier. They talk about him as if he's an NFL experienced veteran pro in terms of his football IQ.
And when anybody talks about a good safety, they talk about a guy that can play at all 3 levels, right? The back end is that 3rd level. The second level's the linebackers. He can roll into the box and be a physical downhill player. And he can also come from that 3rd level, as we just saw, all the way down to the 1st level and make plays and tackles at the line of scrimmage.
Second and 11. Leary threw it behind the intended target. So he was trying to find Caddis. Third and 11 now. Remember, Dallas Turner, top 10 in the nation in sacks. Chris Braswell is 3rd in the SEC in sacks. Alabama has the weaponry to get after him. There is big Dallas Turner. Had a huge play in the 4th quarter against LSU. The batted pass that was intercepted helped put the game away. Third and 11. Excellent break on the ball from Arnold. Terrion Arnold. What an interception. Roll Tide.
Well, that ball just a little late to the outside. Watch this second movement. That slide right there. See that? When his 3rd foot hit the ground, the ball didn't come out, and that ball was a hair late. Terrion Arnold able to undercut that deep out route from the slot. If that's thrown on time to the outside, might be a completion. But just that little subtle hop, that hop backwards to the side from Leary, changes the timing by a split second and gives Arnold the opportunity.
And Arnold's been very outspoken about the way this team has grown this season, saying, you know, those people out there that were saying the negative things about us, about Alabama, we wouldn't be this, we wouldn't do that. He said, one of my favorite quotes, underestimate us so we can embarrass you.
Well, that's a chip if I've ever heard it.
Isn't it? That's incomplete, that diving effort. Moments ago, he just got that interception and had the interception that we were referencing last week against LSU when Dallas Turner made the big play of the tip ball of Jaden Daniels' pass. That was Arnold who got that interception in the 4th quarter, and now he gets this one here in the first half against Kentucky. Williams on 2nd and 10. He just bounces back as Saunders was in the right place against Williams.
Actually just spun around right into that to force a 3rd down here. Again, Kentucky still with 2 timeouts. They can force a punt here. Still some time to flip this game before half, like we were talking about earlier.
3rd down and 13. Milroe. And he just has to throw it away as Trevin Wallace, one of the few guys on the field that could match speed with Jalen Milroe, was right in front of him.
Oh, he's a freakish athlete, right? 241 pounds. He's hit 22 miles per hour on the GPS before, which is why I mentioned earlier, he's that guy that usually QB spies on Milroe. See, he's going to pass off the route, and then he's going to have eyes on Milroe and try to force throwaways or sacks just like that.
James Burnap on to punt away. He's 5th nationally with a 48.2 average per punt. Come after it. Nearly got to it. And they came up big on special teams before. And here they came after Burnap. This is how close Kentucky was to another big play. Anthony Brown-Stevens coming in on Burnap.
be coming up on the Lexus Halftime Report.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. We look forward to that. Look forward to the entire day of college football. You and I got to find ourselves a good steakhouse in town for those 3:30 games.
A few adult bevies, little grub.
Just make sure we stay hydrated. First down run, Ray Davis straight ahead as he works his way for that final push out to the 38-yard line. Damon Payne with the tackle for the Tide.
So as I mentioned, both timeouts here, so a little under a minute and a half, still plenty of time.
Devin Leary with time, and that's a good pass where he basically just forced it right into Josh Caddis, and it's a first down for Kentucky.
Yeah, that same route that he missed earlier to Caddis when they had the football, threw it right by him, right on target that time.
Minute to play before we get to halftime. Leary backed up, Braswell chasing. And he's going to have to throw this away. Tim Smith and Chris Braswell were closing in on Devin Leary. Leaves 53 seconds. 2 timeouts for Kentucky. A 2nd and 10 in front of them.
Yeah, that play took a little too long, though. I think Leary was trying to change something at the line of scrimmage. Under a minute here now, even with those 2 timeouts. Let's line up, run it, and just trust the play call.
There's Dallas Turner on one side, Chris Braswell on the other. And the target is number 13 in gray and blue. And Turner was a little anxious to get to it.
Offside. Defense number 15. The movement by the defense caused the offense to react. The penalty is 5 yards. Remains 2nd down.
Now Liam Cohn and the play caller on Kentucky can think a little differently.
Yeah, they get Barryon Brown and Dane Key back in the game. Had a true freshman and a sophomore out there that haven't played much this season. So get a couple of their playmakers back in here. Let's see if they can get them the ball.
There's Brown in motion. 2nd and 5. Leary goes underneath to Davis, but Campbell was right on top of him. Campbell's a guy that could start to emerge as one of the next great ones. He's getting extended playing time because Deontay Lawson is out injured today.
Yeah, Deontay Lawson's the quarterback of the defense, so Campbell's got big responsibility today, especially with how much Kentucky moves. He's got all the physical tools. I think Kevin Steele and Nick Saban were excited to see him communicate and run the show today, which he's doing a good job of so far.
He was an edge rusher in high school, a little different playing in Saban and Steele's system as an inside backer. 3rd and 3 as the flag comes down, maybe the right side of that offensive line.
Jeremy Flax trying to get a little head start there on Chris Braswell.
On the offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
You know, I believe made famous by David Bakhtiari of the Packers, former Colorado Buff. A lot of guys in the NFL now really trying to time up that cadence to get just an extra half a second to set the angle against good defensive ends.
Flax was awesome when we were here in that Florida game.
Thank you.
They ran for 300 yards, and Flax was named the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. Ray Davis had 280 in that game, and could have had more if they just went with the play calling in the 4th quarter. Could have set the all-time
like
school record.
200 and something in the 2nd quarter, I believe.
He did. 3rd down and 8. Leary downfield and too far to the outside of Robinson. Amos was there with coverage.
Boy, a really good idea by Leary, just trying to throw a jump ball, back shoulder throw with Chris Braswell looping around, providing a little bit of pressure on him, speeding the process up, but just a little too high for Robinson on the outside, and a big missed opportunity there for Kentucky to not even just get in field goal range to try to get some points on the board before half and before they get the ball back in the 2nd half.
Barry looking to pin Alabama here. McKinstry gets away from it, and Kentucky trying to bat it back in. 35 seconds before we get to halftime. Big lead for Bama. Now a quick word from Verbo.
I'm live on the patio of this Verbo vacation home. It's recovery time after a hard-fought win tonight. It's a good thing there's no host at a Verbo, so you don't have to worry about some stranger asking to join your ice bath party. Back to you.
Marty Smith, always having a great time. By the way, I got up early this morning, and I came over here because SEC Nation was out. And my old show I take great pride in. And I came over. I said, let me go see Marty and what he's up to. He's on the air before you guys come on the air. My man is drinking 22-year-old
I saw that
on TV out of a crystal crap. It was unbelievable. He's doing the tasting notes on the whole deal live on TV.
There's levels to this job.
Oh.
Marty's in a level where he can drink a little bourbon, have a little sip on air. Me, I don't think they'd let me do that.
No. Roy Del Williams, we're glad you're up there in a Black Hawk helicopter. We you as good as can be. Final seconds ticking down. What an interesting first half for Jalen Milroe. Comes into the game red hot off of the 4 rushing touchdown performance against LSU and gets banged up. I mean, takes a big hit to the left thigh. Has to leave the game. Comes back into the game, and he's been nearly flawless. 3 passing touchdowns, the rushing touchdown, and a 28-7 lead. This version of Jalen Milroe is dangerous. Number 8, Bama out in front, looking to claim the SEC West yet again. Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Coach Saban, you're missing 2 key pieces on defense. What's impressed you about the way that group has adjusted and played so far?
Well, the guys have, stepped up and played well. We made a mistake down here on the goal line on their touchdown in the coverage, but, new guys playing new spots, sometimes you get that. But I'm happy with the way the guys are playing, but we got to come out in the second half and do a good job.
How would you assess Jalen Milroe's first half?
He started out really well. I think he's got to take what the defense gives. You don't want to throw interceptions. You can throw the ball away. They dropped 8 guys. There's nowhere to go with it. Sometimes you just got to give up.
Thank you for the time.
All right, thanks.
Always a coaching moment with Nick Saban. 28-7. As we get ready to bring you the studio report with Matt, Joey, and Dan. Alabama trying to claim the SEC West. And now let's get to the guys in studio.
Veterans Week coverage on ESPN. Brought to you by USAA.
ESPN College Football presented by Zales. It is Veteran Week presented by USAA. Joe Tessitore, Jordan Rogers in for Jesse Palmer, and Katie George with you here at Kroger Field, where it's 28-7 Alabama. Jalen Milroe with all 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing. And Kentucky, their last 3 drives, they did get into Alabama territory. They came away with 0 points.
Yeah, it's been this Alabama defense, right? The questions were about the injuries. No Deontay Lawson, no Key on the back end, but Jahad Campbell has played extremely well. Caleb Downs, the talented freshman, all over the field. Kentucky not able to get Ray Davis going on the ground. They've got to find ways to get him involved in the screen game, through the air. Still got to get your best player involved if you're going to get back into this one in the second half.
There is Devin Leary, the transfer from NC State. There was a players-only meeting a few weeks ago. He performed very well against Tennessee, had 372 yards passing. They've tried to trim some of the inventory, as they say, of the playbook so that he can play a little more decisive and eliminate some of the slow-developing crossovers. But nothing is slow when it comes to the Bama defense, whether it's the edge rushing of Turner and Braswell or the excellent play in the defensive backfield by Caleb Downs, McKinstry, and Arnold. Ray Davis, the star running back, held to just 23 yards rushing in that first half. Leary, play action. Into traffic, incomplete, broken up by Terrion Arnold.
Oh, Terrion all over that, and that was a dangerous throw because Christian Story, the safety, also filling in for Jalen Key, was sitting right there. So if that ball was out in front of the receiver at all, it probably would have been an interception. Again, it's just tough, this pass game, because so much of it is predicated on the run. If you're not affecting those linebackers and threatening with that downhill run, they're just keeping eyes on the quarterback and staying right in coverage.
2nd and 10, going to check it down. Davis, blockers in front. They set up the screen as he's able to get the first down.
Oh, Liam Cohen was listening to the open, here for the second half. So you got to find ways to get your best player the ball when the run game isn't working, right? Alabama's been aggressive on the ends, especially Chris Braswell right there all day. Use that against him. Quick, easy throw, get Ray Davis out in space with a couple blockers.
And also a good job by those couple blockers, not being too early on the release against that front of Alabama. There is Liam Cohen. If you can see him there, if you can make him out through the opaque glass and the sunglasses and the tinted hat. Ray Davis in the backfield on first down. Picks up the pressure as Leary just had to throw it away. Terrion Arnold was fighting nonstop to get to Devin Leary, and Tim Keenan joined him there.
How many times have we said Terrion Arnold's name? And every time I feel like we say it, he's in a different spot, right? Because of the injuries, he's sometimes outside, sometimes at that star position. This time blitzing off the side. Davis does a great job of trying to get in front of him, but an even better job by Arnold of skirting that tackle. Excuse me, skirting that block.
He's been the outspoken leader of that defensive backfield about this team, saying we're a true team. We don't have a Bryce Young and Will Anderson. We're a true team here. 2nd and 10. Ball was batted at the line of scrimmage. That was Tim Keenan getting in that path of Devin Leary.
And something to keep an eye on there for Devin Leary. He took a hard hit on that last play. Fell on that right shoulder. Remember, he was taken out of the game last week. Here we go. Watch him come down on this right shoulder. Was taken out of the game last week because of a shoulder injury. Slow to get up on that one. Something to keep an eye on. They're going to need that right arm if they're going to get back in this game.
Third down and 10. Right in his face immediately. He took another big hit, and a flag comes down as he was crushed by 3 Alabama defenders, including Campbell.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 93 with contact in the head. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's Jamarian Latham.
Trey Amos coming in from the right side as well. And we just showed a hard hit that Devin Leary took. Look at this one.
And you see that right hand of Latham getting up to the helmet area of Devin Leary. As if that's not enough, you have the other 2 players coming in as well. Full body attack. So the 15-yard penalty will be a first down for Kentucky across midfield at the Alabama 48-yard line. Leary off play action. And coming back for the ball and getting it is Josh Caddis. It's a heck of an effort from Caddis.
Wow, unbelievable. Look at this ball underthrown. Does a great job of adjusting. Let's see. Ooh.
Does he have firm control when his body hits out of bounds?
Right elbow comes down, but does the ball move right there? I don't know.
I think that's a great effort.
Yeah, I think that's a great catch.
He pins it against his shoulder pads. And you do not see any wiggle in that football. Josh Caddis with great body control.
That's pretty unbelievable right there. What a catch.
First down, Cats. Leary. Incomplete. Sumo Karngbe almost turned and had a touchdown, but he couldn't hold on to the ball.
Boy, and this is a heck of a throw by Devin Leary. I mean, the ball location here to get it on the back shoulder of Sumo Karngbe, who initially looked like he had it. That's a really good job there by Kool-Aid McKinstry of attacking that ball with his right hand. So you see here with the progressive pylon, watch his right hand come in here.
There it is on the progressive pylon cam.
And just punch. Left hand as well. Great job by Kool-Aid there.
So pass broken up by Kool-Aid McKinstry. Second down and 10. Leary pressured again, tries to spin out of it, and he does. and gets it complete near the 10-yard line. That line to gain as he goes to Key.
Boy, Tresman Marshall had a free hit on Devin Leary. I tell you what, there's one or two plays a game, every game where this happens to Leary. Somehow he gets out of a jam like this. Did it against Missouri, did it against Mississippi State. Great job of spinning out and finding his receiver. Boy, the natural tools that Leary has, that's what, it just keeps you coming back going, man, this guy's got so much good football that he can play. It's consistently making those decisions and those throws.
They're going to mark him short and a 3rd down and 1. And now a timeout is going to be used by Kentucky. Well, they've been knocking on the door a few times. Can they crash on through when we return? A 3rd and 1 for Stoops and company. Glad you're with us watching the SEC on ESPN. Bama could clinch the West with a win. Georgia can clinch the East tonight. But will Kentucky try to have a little fire here in the 3rd quarter as they are down at the 11-yard line facing a 3rd and 1. Coach Stoops talked about all week long, hey, we have to deal with Milroe, but we have to be effective offensively ourselves. They haven't been when they've been in position recently. Can they now? 3rd down and 1. Quarterback sneaks straight ahead, 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal, Kentucky. Remember their last 3 drives prior to this drive. They got into Bama territory, but they didn't come away with points.
Yeah, I love the decision there. Remember the last big-time short yardage play, the 4th down, they went empty and threw the ball. So just trust your big boys up front. And now when you're in this inside the 10 area, this is where Alabama likes to play a lot of man coverage. This is where those motions can create an advantage for you.
Motion as they go with the orbit to Brown. Brown trying to get to the corner and reach out for it as he came around and took it ahead for 7 yards. He's 2nd and goal from the 2.
Well, I love getting the ball in Barry on Brown's hands like that. He's been quiet through the air, but he's a guy that's probably the most dynamic for this Kentucky team, so they need to find ways and continue to find ways to get him the ball. But this is where Kentucky teams have passed. They just lined up and said, we're going to push you into the end zone. Let's see if they have that same mentality here.
That big blue wall mentality. Davis, yes they do. As the offensive line paves the way for sweet baby Ray.
Yeah, it's really a good double team here. Right up the gut to open up that initial hole. Tim Smith almost blew that one up, but great double team by the center and guard there. Just like you said, the old big blue wall wouldn't have blinked. Kentucky doesn't there either.
10th rushing touchdown of the year for Ray Davis. Rayner caps it with the extra point. And Kentucky does their job to open up this 2nd half. 10 plays, 75 yards. And Devin Leary came up big, surviving this and getting the completion. And that led to Ray Davis punching it in. And it's 28-14, a little hope for Big Blue Nation. Well, as you know, all season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más Student Section of the Year. You can download that Taco Bell app and learn more about it. This is one of the sneaky great atmospheres in college football.
No doubt. It's a tough place to play anywhere in the SEC, but when they get rocking here in Kroger Field, and they're starting to get a little bit of that mojo back, right? It was a rough start, a slow start for Kentucky. That's a nice way to put it, but they're climbing their way back into this game.
You got to go back to October 4th of '97. The last time Kentucky beat Alabama was right here in overtime. Or you go back to 1922 for the other.
Oh, yeah, just 1922.
Just 1922. 6-zip Kentucky here in Lexington.
That was a barn burner back then.
It was back then. Williams on the return. Williams catches a seam, and it's a good return out past the 35-yard line. Weekend lineup, Jordan, is brought to you by Wendy's Beef.
Boy, first Taco Bell, now Wendy's.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm getting hungry.
getting me hungry. Tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that Ole Miss Georgia game tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Look, everyone goes back to that Ole Miss game against Alabama and how Alabama handled that, but Ole Miss didn't have their best receiver, Trey Harris, didn't have their tight end, his first game back, Caden Prescorn. Quinshon Judkins wasn't quite hitting his stride yet. It's a different Ole Miss team now. It'll be a fun one to watch.
That is coming up tonight on ESPN. Cannot wait to see that. So much to be decided in the SEC today. This game could decide the West. McClellan can't find space out on the perimeter as he was tackled that time by Hardaway.
It was a fast start for Jalen Milroe, right? And last couple drives, interception, punt, then halftime. They got to find a way to get back in rhythm. As you see, last couple games, he's in some rare company there with a #1 overall pick, couple first-round draft picks, and NFL starters.
And this is a guy who started the first 2 weeks, lost to Texas, and was benched in week 3. 2nd and 7 as he gets it to Bond. Bond is going to be right at the stick.
And I love that, right? And this is what's hard as a quarterback, is when you play a team like Kentucky that plays so much what we call top-down zone, where they're going to stay way over the top of you. They're going to force you to take the underneath throws. That's what Saban said at half. I want to see Jalen take what they give him. Great throw there to free access for a first down pickup.
McClellan straight ahead. Jace McClellan. Heck of a run. And now Tommy Rees, the play caller, is hitting on all cylinders with this offense.
Well, and Dupree here, the tight end's going to get a great little reach block on the inside right there to open up that hole for McClellan. And that's one of the aspects of this offense being so different under Tommy Rees. They play with a lot of tight ends. 12 personnel is something they live in over 40% of their plays, where last year it was about 18%.
Of course, his first year at Bama after being the play caller for BK at Notre Dame. Kobe Prentice, he is brought back by Afari. You know, it's interesting with Tommy Rees, guy plays at Notre Dame and coaches at Notre Dame. We visited with him the other night. He said, listen, I needed this kind of a challenge in my life.
Needed a little bit of a reset, right? And everybody talks about the culture here under Nick Saban, the culture at Alabama. And he mentioned, look, it's bringing out the best in me, right? The competitiveness of every day being in this facility, the greatness and the grind of the coaches like Nick Saban that I get to see every single day. It's pushed me to push myself, and I think you're seeing the best version of Tommy Rees.
Milroe on 2nd and 12 is going to loft it deep and well out of bounds. He was looking for Kendrick Law. Katie.
I thought it was interesting, guys. He said you get to a point in your career where you feel like you have things figured out, and then you go to a place, as you guys mentioned, that challenges you in new ways. He said his hunger to continue to learn and improve as a coach and play caller has been reignited since joining Coach Saban's staff.
And now Tommy Rees, as you see his career timeline, is facing a 3rd and 12.
Legal substitution. Offense. More than 11 players in the formation. 5-yard penalty. And it's third down.
And this crowd's going to roar even more.
3rd in California here, not much to call, especially against a team that wants to play so much zone. So if they do decide to pass it, let's see if they can give Milroe enough time. Caden Proctor, the left tackle, has been a work in progress. It's going to be one-on-one here on the outside at the top of your screen.
True freshman, one of the top recruits in the country. See how he holds up. They back off into coverage on 3rd and 17, and he converts. Kobe Prentice again. Jalen Milroe with that protection, able to find his receiver Prentice. First down tie.
I mean, look at this pocket. Does it get any better than this? When you give Jalen Milroe time to scan the field, that's one of those sail routes, one of those deep crossers where that receiver is just searching for green grass. Not really a landmark, trying to get across the field to the numbers and find the opening, but great protection up front across the board.
Milroe pitches eventually to Bonds, who is pushed out of bounds.
And this, again, is one of those flood concepts that we highlighted at the beginning of the game. You're going to have someone really deep. You're going to have someone on an over route, someone in the flats, and Milroe gets to his second option, the over route there. And because of the protection, able to put that right on the money.
McClellan straight ahead, reaching out, but it'll be 1st and goal, Alabama.
Boy, and this just feels a little bit like what I mentioned earlier and what Coach Stoops mentioned to us, that Alabama at some point in the game just decides they want to lean on you. I mean, they are huge up front across the board at offensive line. Everyone's 330 and north of that. You have to match the physicality of an Alabama team at the line of scrimmage for 4 quarters, and right now Kentucky giving up a little bit too much.
First and goal, Milroe. And it is a high five for Jalen Milroe, his 5th total touchdown of the day. Lola and Quinton, who served in our armed forces here on Veterans Day, watching their son continue his ascent.
Well, when you score something like 7 touchdowns or so in the last, how many? 8 quarters, 9 quarters, whatever it is, Mom and Dad, it's just kind of a golf clap at that point.
Hey,
you're used to it.
Last week, 5 to
There's 9. Oh, 9, sorry.
9 touchdowns in 6.5 quarters of football.
Mom and Dad are like, oh, okay, good job. We've seen that. That's awesome. How fun to watch this kid.
First 5 SEC games, he had 11. His last 2, and we haven't even completed 2, he has 9. Jalen Milroe is just playing on a different level. The confidence is there. The results are there. Bama in complete control. ESPN College Football is presented by Zales. Alabama has won 17 straight against unranked opponents. They are the number 8 team in the country facing these Cats, up 35-14. Katie.
You know, Tess, a while back, Tommy Rees told Jalen Milroe, I don't ever want to call a play where you feel anything but comfortable and confident. So if there's something you don't like, tell me. I'll take it out immediately. Rees said he and Milroe really collaborated on the packages we're seeing now. They meet every morning to go over things. They spend extra time together on Fridays. Rees said anytime you can empower your quarterback and they feel like they are a part of the decision-making process, they become more invested in the offense, and it raises their level of play. As you guys mentioned, he should know he played the position.
That's right. And they've been finding ways to run him on the perimeter in recent weeks. Things that weren't in the offensive playbook even a month ago, they say. Ray Davis is stacked up and driven back. Combination of Tide players, including Campbell.
When I love what Tommy Rees said about the benching and how that forced Milroe to change his preparation. Started asking for more meeting time. Wanted to talk about more things, meet more frequently, go over the game plan in a different manner. So totally changed his approach and preparation to the game. And I think that's why you're seeing him play at such a high level in part today.
And in your career, when you were with James Franklin at Vanderbilt, at the height, you guys were going to back-to-back bowl games. That happened to you.
Did the same thing. I got benched week 3 against Presbyterian for really just the reason to kind of put me in my place. Show me that, hey, you don't just get to come out here and play quarterback. You got to put in the work. And it changed the way I prep. And Devin Leary there in the arms of Chris Braswell once again.
Second sack of the day for Alabama.
And this is the quandary you're in. Down 3 scores is you have to push the football down the field. And Payne actually in there, and Braswell. You can see Payne working on the right guard there.
Man, coverage downfield just there as well.
Plastered. Great coverage.
Oh, we got the great divide. I mean, you don't see that great divide a lot.
There's one way to hedge your bet.
That's it. See that in a couple of weeks with the Iron Bowl a lot back in the great state of Alabama, but not often with Kentucky and Alabama. 3rd and 21. Leary's going to go underneath to Key, who's going to be well short as he's tackled immediately by Caleb Downs.
Just a frustrating day top to bottom for Kentucky, but a really good day for that young man, Caleb Downs. And as Mark Stoops tries to figure out What's going wrong with this offense? It's been a myriad of things. Protection's been up and down. Decision-making accuracy at times up and down with Devin Leary, and you can't do that against a number 8 team in Alabama.
4 times now it's been a 3-and-out for Kentucky as Barry boots it away. Kool-Aid from the 35-yard line. Here goes McKinstry. Excellent return inside the 40.
I love when the punt returner Kool-Aid, I love when they can get just straight upfield. And oftentimes you want to chase green grass and run to the outside one step and then just gets north and south, and that's those ones you see go all the way. Rarely do you see the big returns when you loop around or try to get to the outside. It's always puncturing the punt return or punt coverage team there, as Kool-Aid did. And
that's not a good sign with Maxwell Hairston down. Maxwell Hairston, who had one of the great games in the SEC earlier this year when he had 2 pick-6 returns against Vandy. And he is critical to any success they want to find in the defensive backfield.
And you can see they're playing through an injury as a cast on his right hand as well, but still playing at a high level, a little banged up on punt coverage there. Hopefully he's all right.
So a short field for Alabama. They start on the 38. Williams, he hits the hole, kept his balance, and drives ahead to the 32-yard line. You up for some college hoops?
Always.
State Farm Champions Classic. This is Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Duke, Michigan State, number 2, number 4. You got Kentucky, these Cats, against number 1 Kansas. But the best part is in between, the reveal of the college football playoff top 25 rankings after game number 1 between Duke and Michigan State.
And will that shake up a little bit, right? If Georgia...
I thought it was going to shake up.
I thought it was too. If Georgia knocks off an Ole Miss, then I think they have earned the right to jump Ohio State to 1. But
not even a question. Williams, good run for a first down. I mean, that is the most substantial game, and this is the part of the Georgia schedule that you knew was coming. You just sit. Kirby said, we don't even look. We don't even care at that number next to our name. It's probably going to be a 1 if they get through tonight.
No doubt. It's got to be, right? And with Tennessee on the horizon, Tennessee sitting just outside the top 10 in the college football playoff rankings as well. They're going to find out what they're about. And, hey, maybe a Brock Bowers gets back on the field tonight.
You think?
Changes things up.
If tightrope surgery and back that quick?
No. Never doubt out Bowers.
Williams with Oots blocking in front, but cutting through was Afari to make a good tackle on Roydell Williams.
And Afari doing a good job today as well. We mentioned to start the game that Andrew Phillips was out at corner. He's the guy that usually plays that nickel spot. Alex Afari's been all over the field playing some star, some safety, getting down around the box.
Second and 9. Milroe gets another completion. This goes to Nyblack, who had the touchdown earlier today.
Boy, once again, almost using Kendrick Law as a decoy, moving him from one side to the other. He's going to go wheel route up the sideline. He's going to pull those defenders out of the way for Nyblack to find that vacancy in the zone there. Another flood concept for this Alabama offense. They've been money on all day.
Jam Miller. He's inside the 10-yard line. Good to give Jace McClellan a bit of a rest with Roydell Williams getting carries, Jam Miller getting carries, just managing this point of the season.
No doubt. Everybody's banged up at this point. Alabama especially. Not as much on the offensive side, definitely on the defensive side of the ball. But their next 2, Chattanooga, so hopefully get a little bit of a breather there, but then the Iron Bowl right after that. Another big matchup before a potential SEC championship if they hold on today, obviously.
Punch their ticket with a win today. And getting down to the 1-yard line was Miller. Remember, that line to gain was right there, so this should be first and goal based on that spot.
I mean, they going to get in the tush push here and just give Milroe another rushing touchdown?
Jalen Milroe right now has 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Could he have a 6th touchdown day?
Well, they went QB sneak from the 4-yard line against LSU. Looks like they might do it here again. Nope.
Miller, he is second effort. No mark yet. Yes, he's marked short. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter.
I think they'll let this one tick away. Get to the 4th quarter in control.
Second down.
They stopped the clock?
For a moment.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
And now those final seconds of this 3rd quarter will tick off. Coach Saban said this is not a time to be complacent. They haven't been. End of the 3rd quarter. Bama in complete control as we take a quick timeout with DoorDash. Yuri Prohaska, Alex Pereira. That is the World Light Heavyweight main event on UFC Fight Night from MSG, 10 o'clock on ESPN+. Now this fight is almost Bama by knockout as we start the 4th quarter. As they have the ball on the 1-yard line. And they're trying to push Milroe in.
Well, I thought he got it with that second effort.
Boy, the second effort looked like he did, but as they clear this pile, it is a touchdown. Roydell Williams with a tush push of Jalen Milroe, and it's a 6-pack for Milroe. 3 rushing, 3 passing. The touchdowns keep coming and coming.
Love these ones, too. Look at the push. Because he got stopped right away. The initial push, Roydell Williams came up and threw him into the end zone. Jam Miller tried. It wasn't until Williams came up that really pushed him over the edge there.
I feel like that much like sacks being divvied up. That's a half touchdown.
Can we break up that touchdown?
Roydell Williams gets a half touchdown.
No, Tess, quarterback always gets it. Come on now.
But Jordan, just the perspective of you think about the year that Jalen Milroe has had. Listen, teams don't stay the same. Players don't stay the same. You either get better or you get worse. He has gotten far, far better. And give credit to Tommy Rees, Nick Saban, and everybody who has crafted this offense to put things in the playbook that weren't even there a month ago and make this work for him.
Yeah, Tommy Rees said he had a moment just the other day with Jalen Milroe where he goes, hey, look at where we're at in this playbook. Look how every week the wrinkles that we've added. Now we have this huge package that is actually just a new offense that you're confident in, that we're executing at a high level. Don't underestimate how much better teams can get through the progression of a season when coaching is at an elite level as well.
A 6-pack of scores for Jalen Milroe.
It's a pretty good day.
Amazing. And that's coming off of what was by far the best game of his career.
Yeah.
The win against LSU with the 4 rushing touchdowns. That set the Alabama single-game record for touchdowns by a quarterback.
I mean, I'm almost hesitating to say this, but is there a world where Jalen is playing himself into a Heisman conversation?
Listen, the Heisman has changed so much in recent years. It just comes down. I feel like it just comes down to the last few weeks and who's a contender for the CFP. It's hard to believe that you can award a Heisman, though, for somebody who starts the year the way he did, is benched for a game. Heisman seasons tend to be from start to finish magical rides, but in this day and age of the Heisman, who knows? Plus, the voting's an absolute joke and should be destroyed and burnt to the ground.
Sidebar.
Aflac trivia question today. As the head coach of Alabama, Nick Saban only has 3 regular season losses to SEC East teams. Think about that. Who are they? I mean, this guy's 17 years coaching Alabama, and he's only lost 3 times in a regular season to an SEC East team.
I got 2 of them.
Well, one of them is fresh in everybody's memory.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm good.
Oh, now, wait, that wasn't the one you had?
No. I got it. I think.
Sumo Karngbae goes straight ahead. He had a 4-yard touchdown reception last week. Was high pointing the ball in the end zone. Made a heck of a play. All right, so here are the answers, Jordan. You might give it a shot?
Yeah, I was going to say Georgia, South Carolina when I was in school had a good squad in 2010, I think it was.
Yes, that's correct.
And then Tennessee, obviously.
Yeah, last year, the throw. Now, here's the thing. The 07 team, obviously, that's Saban just getting his feet underneath him. That was.
They lost to Troy that year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Louisiana Monroe.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That was, I mean, it's the worst Alabama team he's ever had, understandably, year number 1. Then the other two are great programs at the time, and that's the Aflac trivia question answer. Leary trying to stay alive there and works his way back to the line of scrimmage. Tim Smith with the tackle.
Yeah, here's that Georgia loss. Stafford obviously slinging the ball. And that was Alabama just getting started. Then Stephen Garcia, Marshawn Lattimore, Alshon Jeffries, Stephon Gilmore on the other side of the ball. That was a team. And then Chase McGrath last year with the ultimate knuckler ball.
The
stars aligned there for Tennessee. I mean, that offense was clicking like never before.
How about our visit with Coach Saban yesterday? He can rattle off every play that if just that play didn't happen, that play didn't happen.
He brought up that game.
He brought up the game last night when we were sitting with him. That's how much it stays in his mind. 3rd and 7. Leary backed up again, and it's incomplete. As Arnold was there with coverage. Robinson was the intended target.
Again, just 18 rushing yards today for Kentucky. And look, there is talent on the outside at receiver. Devin Leary is a really talented quarterback. But this offense does not work when the run game isn't rolling. It's so predicated on that, and that's what you're seeing. You're just seeing them out of rhythm. The normal throws and opportunities just haven't been there.
Wilson Berry, the 25-year-old punter, is going to have a sore leg. This is his 6th punt of the afternoon. McKinstry calls for the fair catch at the 34-yard line. And we will take a break. Take a closer examination of Alabama down the stretch of the season, the college football playoff hopes, when we return.
After Kentucky's punt, Jalen Milroe grabbed his helmet on the sidelines, was ready to rejoin his team on the football field. Nick Saban caught him just in time, said, nope, son, your day is done. 6 touchdowns, though. He wanted his 7th, guys.
Yeah, he's probably saying, hey, don't you remember what Tua did back in September of 2019 against Ole Miss when he had 6 passing and 1 rushing? I just need 1 more to tie Tua. So Ty Simpson comes in. Jam Miller takes the carry, but Jalen Milroe's day was just superb.
So impressive, building off the performance against LSU where he did it all with his legs. This time a lot of big plays with his arm. Saw 1 in rhythm, 1 a second reaction play, great ball downfield for the touchdown. And then anytime they've been in short yardage, you just can't stop him. They're so physical, but I love how he's done things with his arm outside the pocket, but also in rhythm at times. It's a complete performance from Jalen Milroe today.
So that's 3/4 of stat gathering as Simpson's pass falls harmlessly to the ground. Robbie Oots was the intended target, and now it's all smiles for Jalen Milroe.
It'll be 3rd down. 3rd and 12 at the 32.
Ty Simpson, his father Jason, the head coach at UT Martin. Led Bama to 17 unanswered points in that sluggish win at USF. Third and 12. Simpson, plenty of time, and he gets the first down. Jalen Hale with the reception and good extra effort out past midfield.
Well, and this is what Ty Simpson excels at. He is a great pocket passer. He's got a really talented, really accurate arm. And talking to Tommy Rees this spring, he said the one thing that he just needs to learn is when to hang in that pocket. Not escape too early, not look at the rush, keep your eyes downfield. And that one there, great job of just hanging in a clean pocket and delivering a strike to the outside.
Simpson There's a good example of exactly what you're talking about to Hale.
Yeah, it's just the arm talent, right? I mean, a much different quarterback than Jalen Milroe, right? He can get outside the pocket. He's not mobile, but he's not going to beat you with his legs. But that is what he'll do, deliver a strike on the run. And as a young quarterback, sometimes this is when you're at your best. When you're not thinking, you're just being an athlete. Great pickup there by the other true freshman there, Jalen Hale.
He has big upside, number 14. It's been an assembly line of star wide receivers for many years at Alabama, and Hale could be one of the next great ones. Jan Miller, he is tripped up but falls ahead for a gain of about 3. Rayner with the tackle.
And again, important reps for Ty Simpson, right? Because I think he was in the middle of a quarterback competition all spring into fall camp. I think he believed he really had a shot to win it, and then brings him back, like you mentioned, against South Florida, but then the job is taken away, and I think he's just felt like he needed an opportunity. You never know when that opportunity could come. It could come in an SEC championship, and you got to be ready, so valuable reps here.
That was battered away. And remember, in that Week 3 game when Jalen Milroe was benched, it was Tyler Buckner who actually got the start. And he struggled against USF. He was 5 of 14 passing. Then Simpson came into the game and rallied them for the win. But all off season, people saying Milroe, yeah, we get it. Simpson, he's the more accurate guy with the arm. Buckner, though, knows the Tommy Rees system. And now you're sitting here with one of the best quarterbacks in college football, number 4, with his helmet off, having a 6-touchdown day in 3 quarters. And
how things change.
Ty Buckner to the side there, the former Notre Dame quarterback.
And obviously I only reference the development of Simpson because you have a quarterback that runs so much.
Yep.
Right? I mean, puts himself at risk. So, you know, hopefully he stays healthy for the long run that Alabama has ahead of them. But in this league, you always got to have a guy that can help you win games as a backup. And Ty Simpson's on that way.
And a timeout is called here, 10:23 to play. Alabama using the timeout. We'll take the break with them. Third down and 8 for Bama. Pressure on Simpson. They pick it up. Simpson made a man miss and on the run before he is tripped up, but it is 1st and goal. So Ty Simpson himself showing the legs.
Well, he's trying to make me eat my words, right? For just a second ago saying, you know, he's not mobile, but great job here again, stepping up in the pocket. One of the few Kentucky blitzes we've seen all night. It's a team that doesn't blitz a lot. Trying to dial up a little pressure to shake the young quarterback, but great decision there by Simpson.
Redshirt freshman. His father coaches UT Martin. Went head-to-head with Milroe for this quarterback position. And now, after that shaky September for everybody involved in the Bama offense.
On the defense, number 4. Half the distance to go for him to run. Automatic first down.
Here they are at this critical juncture, the defining time in the sport. And they are bringing this in for a nice, easy landing in an SEC West championship. Milroe finishes with 234 yards passing and 3 passing touchdowns. And then 7 carries with 3 rushing touchdowns. 1st and goal. Miller straight ahead and just add to it. The tide is indeed rolling.
Well, the physicality up front's been really impressive. Right, just the last, I don't know, since the middle of the 2nd quarter, you felt like this offensive line started to hit their stride. And it's a big physical Kentucky defensive front that is stout, that is tough to move, but opened up some big holes for Jam Miller, Jace McClellan, and Roydell Williams.
It's a good kick out by Tyler Booker, the pulling guard on the left side from New Haven, Connecticut, and then made his way to IMG Academy in Florida.
Just 6'5", 350.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
Yeah. And that's what 5-star recruits tend to look like. 49-14. The soon-to-be SEC West champs, Alabama on top.
ESPN College Football is presented by Zales, the Diamond Store. Love real. And in part by Burger King.
This is one of the best moments of the weekend celebrating Veterans Day. The Assault Battalion, the Flying Tigers, and that is how we got the day started, as senior coordinating producer Baron Miller put that together, working with the Army this week, both on SEC Nation and then to open up our broadcast. Jordan, you were up there flying with those Flying Tigers.
Unreal experience. We'll say, too, they gave us a little ride to start it. We hovered off the ground just a little bit, and that thing just took off. I mean, I was not ready for it. Had to check my seatbelt once or twice.
Matt Berry, what do you got?
Well, Joe Testro got a familiar sight for Penn State fans in a big game under James Franklin. Blake Corum off the left side, 24-9 Michigan, late fourth quarter.
Penn State fans, Matt, just have to be sitting back and saying, in big spots, can we please score? College football playoff rankings are brought to you by Prudential. Of course, the CFP path. We've had 9 years of the CFP, 36 teams, 15 undefeated, 21 one-loss teams, never a two-loss team. And, of course, Bama, a one-loss team, unbeaten in the SEC and hoping to be an SEC champion. Ramon Jefferson with the carry. It's a great run by Jefferson. A little fourth quarter spark for the Cats as he's taken down and tracked down by the always hustling Caleb Downs.
Boy, not much there. I mean, the initial blocking was just okay, but bad tackling lanes on the back end. Christian Story here comes in, number 4, and just overruns the ball a little bit. I tell you what, there's nothing that'll get Nick Saban fired up more than that right there. You see in the progressive pylon cam, almost taking it all the way.
So a 74-yard run by Jefferson. And he couldn't get the payoff, and the ball may have come out at the end there. Was he down, or did Alabama just recover the fumble with Christian Story claiming that?
I think that's out.
It looked like it was out.
And again, I just mentioned that Christian Story, who was filling in for the injured Jalen Key at safety, missed the tackle in the previous play. Look at this. Oh, yeah, it's out.
That's a fumble and a fumble recovery by Christian Story, and did it all on his own.
Wow. You're going to fire up Nick Saban. Now you're going to make him a little happy.
By the way, put that on the tape for youth football as to how to do it.
Shoulder right on the ball, leverage at the goal line.
This should be Alabama football.
Yeah,
instead, it's Kentucky trying to get it in. I cannot believe they're not reviewing that. I don't care that it's 49-14. Just officiate the game properly.
How do they not go back and look at this? Watch the knees. Watch the shoulder. I mean, it's close, but from
you got to look at it, right?
Yeah, from the other angle, it looks like that ball starts to move right there. See, look, it's between his legs there already. I don't know. Maybe it's simultaneous there. I get a little carried away there, Tess.
3rd and goal. Davis straight ahead and in for the touchdown. Ray Davis scores again. A 1-yard touchdown run for Ray Davis, his 2nd of the day. And we told you one of the great stories of college football, from everything he overcame as a youngster growing up in the Bay Area, where he was bouncing in and out of foster care, to Laura Banks and Greg Lay, who became his temporary guardians in 2016 and turned his life around, gave him opportunity that has led him now to be a Vanderbilt graduate and a Kentucky football star as a transfer.
And you love rooting for guys that not only are just good at football, but just good human beings, right? The character of him, the work ethic, the humility. You spend a little time around Ray Davis, there's no way you don't come away from that being a huge fan of him.
A lot of NFL scouts did that this week, and he sat with them, told them his life story. I was with one earlier, said, listen, we love the kid. 49-21, Ray Davis with the touchdown run. CFP rankings brought to you by Prudential. We've been discussing you know, listen, there's a chance for 5 undefeated Power 5 conference champs. There's still things to take place in the coming weeks. It typically cleans itself up.
I feel like every year we sit here and go, man, we could have this many undefeateds, and chaos always happens, right? That's college football.
Sure.
But where's the chaos going to occur?
Well, a one-loss Texas is the team that people point to and say, that could be an issue for a one-loss Alabama team, but Kendrick Law on the return. Here's the one thing I know. If you get an undefeated Georgia against this Alabama team playing for the SEC, I don't care. There's no discussion for me to be had. But you know the history of, in the CFP era, of early season losses that can be dismissed.
Well, I think that's why we went to this type of model, right? Because you want to be able to appreciate the teams can get better. They can lose early, and circumstances and players and teams get better and things change. And nobody exemplifies that more than this Alabama team right here. I mean, are they not night and day different right now than they were against Texas week 2?
Oh, absolutely. It's not even the same.
No.
I mean, the quarterback position is just miles and miles beyond what it was back then. This is Justice Haynes, a true freshman running back. And then, all right, so you think about Oregon as a one-loss team. You think about Texas, and let's say everybody wins out and you get to these championship games. I think Alabama would benefit from Oregon topping Washington, and Oregon winning. They'd have a resume that tops a one-loss Oregon team, even an Oregon team is wildly respected, because that would be an Alabama team that's then defeating potentially an undefeated Georgia team.
That's the trump card, right?
Right. I mean, that's the ultimate trump card.
Totally.
It's the best win in football.
It would be at the most pivotal time as well.
Haynes again, Justice Haynes. He is an ultra-talented true freshman. You talk to those around the program about this running back group, McClellan, Williams, Miller, Haynes, and they'll always finish every conversation saying, well, Haynes may be the most talented.
Yeah, and Saban didn't shy away from that even back in the spring when we were here around the program. I think him developing as a guy that can be a 3-down back, right, be good in pass protection, be good out of the backfield. I mean, he is an electric ball carrier, a physical bowling ball that gets going downhill. He'll make you miss as well. And as he develops into a guy that can do everything, even on a 3rd down, he's going to continue to fight his way into this lineup.
Ty Simpson has been in at quarterback for a while now, as Milroe was taken out after his 6th touchdown day. Milroe finished with 240 yards. There he is, all smiles for Jalen. 3 touchdowns, passing, and then 7 rushes that accounted for 3 rushing touchdowns.
Pretty good odds, right? Almost 1 out of every 2 times he touched the ball.
Last week it was 4 rushing touchdowns. By the way, Michigan has defeated Penn State. For those tuning over here to Alabama, Kentucky, seeing the end of this, it has been Alabama all day with Milroe as the star quarterback, 6 touchdowns.
And again, he's not going to get 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns every single game, but this is an aspect of the offense that is going nowhere. Leaning on his athleticism and his ability to run the football to set up those play action passes and those shot plays downfield.
Richard Young just carried it for 3 yards. Now Haynes back into the game. Justice Haynes, and he will have another first down for Alabama as that clock continues to roll down. The continued evolution of Jalen Milroe from, you know, an elite athlete playing quarterback to now a quarterback that happens to be an elite athlete.
Yeah, and a leader that's developing, right? It's not in his DNA to be super outspoken or outgoing, and that's okay. You don't have to always be as a quarterback, but he is taking ownership of that. As you see him talking to a couple of his tight ends right now, he has become more of a vocal leader. Came out of his shell a little bit because he realized that this team needed that out of him.
Haynes getting a lot of work here late as he goes inside the 40. Women's college basketball has a triple header tomorrow. Maryland, South Carolina's on ABC at 1. UConn and NC State at 3. And then at 5 on ESPN, number 9 Indiana, number 15 Stanford. That's the triple header tomorrow. Ray Davis His day was only 26 yards, did have a couple of touchdowns, but for Kentucky to find any rhythm on offense, they need that rushing game, and they just couldn't get it against that Alabama defensive front. Young, this carry goes for a couple of yards. Yeah, I want to talk to you about Ole Miss and Georgia tonight, Jordan. We spent last week with Ole Miss. You know what they're capable of doing. Georgia's defense doesn't have Jamon Dumas-Johnson, the outstanding linebacker. He suffered a fractured forearm against Mizzou. How does that change the complexion of the game?
Well, it's huge. Similar to not having Deontay Lawson today, is Jamon Dumas-Johnson is the quarterback of that defense. He's calling out everything. And when it's a team like Ole Miss, unlike Kentucky that goes so much tempo and unbalance and movement, that puts a lot of stress on that position. Now, I'm going to follow that up with the fact that Georgia's recruited pretty well.
Pretty?
Yeah, I mean, you know, so the drop-off is not going to be super substantial. But I just look at this Ole Miss team, and I think they're so much different than what we saw against Alabama earlier in the season. Jackson Dart playing at such a higher level. Quinshon Judkins looking like one of the best guys in the country once again after a slow start. They can find a way to jump out early and make this a game. There is a path to victory.
And they have a clear number one receiver.
Yes.
In Trey Harris.
Trey Harris.
I felt like last week we were calling that game against A&M. Every other play were just, jaw-dropping catches from Trey Harris. Jaw-dropping incompletions on catches he was making out of bounds.
But again, there's a reason Georgia's won 43 of 44. So you have to be perfect against them.
4th and 3, Simpson, and he gets it complete. Heck of a play that time by Ty Simpson to get that ball complete as he's able to find Kisselman.
That might be a little pass interference on the offense.
Pass interference. Defense number 13.
Oh, defense.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 4th down.
Both guys tangled up. I wasn't sure who they were going to call it on. It almost looked like the Alabama receiver was trying to block.
I know they're closing out the game here, not a crisis point in the game, but that was just the 3rd time this season that Bama's gone for it on 4th down. The total antithesis of everything Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss's offenses that we were just discussing.
And it was on the offense.
So they will send the punt team in. There's going to be a lot of people. Listen, we brought it up, and I don't want to get into the conversation of what could go all over the place here, but even the fact that you could pose the question of Heisman for Jalen Milroe, even the fact that question can come up.
Well, I think it's
how astounding the year is.
And also because no one has really taken complete control of that conversation, right? Jaden Daniels had a chance to, and he's still in that conversation.
Penix
had a chance last week, but Milroe bested him.
More to discuss as we wrap things up here. Final minute and a half from Kentucky when we return. Next Saturday, ESPN Plus, SEC Network, 3 games at noon. You got A&M, Mississippi State, this Alabama team against Chattanooga. SEC Network at noon is Ole Miss. At 4 is Auburn hosting New Mexico State. 7:30 Kentucky, South Carolina. You'll be on the call of that, right, Jordan?
Yeah. Be a good ball game. South Carolina took it to my doors today.
Yes, they did.
Oh, my gosh.
And there is Devin Leary, who, of course, will try to reset things for that showdown against South Carolina. Today was 17 of 31, 158 yards, a touchdown, interception, and was sacked 3 times. I felt like he was under pressure a heck of a lot.
Didn't have much of a chance, right? No run game, no protection. Was a real tough day for this Kentucky offense as a whole.
Tyus Sharon is in at quarterback as Sumo Kongbe just takes the carry. Final minute. We keep discussing this Alabama team and how they have blossomed into what is really the way you always think of Alabama. A team that has dangerous weapons on offense.
Holding, offense number 73. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Repeat 2nd down.
Has a now franchise-type quarterback in a different way than what we've seen in recent years, as Milroe has clearly developed into that. a well-coached defense with amazing edge rushers, stout on the interior, and supreme talent in defensive backfield.
And they did it all today without their top linebacker, Deontay
right.
Lawson, without Key on the back end. And, oh, by the way, we didn't really mention it because of how good Milroe was. Jermaine Burton didn't play today. Their best wide receiver. And you go on the road, put 49 points up against a stingy Kentucky defense and team that is always a tough out.
Jermaine Burton, who went for 197 yards, 9 catches against A&M this year. So they'll get healthy. Obviously, next week, we put up that promo. And I know people hate when you call it Cupcake Saturday, but that's what it is.
It is.
It's a get healthy week next week. But this is an Alabama team that has done it again. They are the SEC West Kings. They're going to play for the conference championship. And they've got a great story at quarterback with a dynamic weapon in Jalen Milroe. The Tide, your SEC West champs for the 15th time in school history. Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Coach Saban, with today's win, you clinched the SEC West title, something you've done many times before. What does it mean to do it with this group in particular?
Well, you know, no matter how many times you've done it before, you're happy for the group of guys, what they've done, how they've improved, how they've worked hard all year. I'm really proud of this group, man. I love this group, this team. So hopefully we just keep learning and getting better. It gives us an opportunity to play for the SEC championship.
Jalen Milroe had another incredible performance. Can you put in perspective the growth and development we've seen from him over the course of the season?
Well, he's done a great job. You know, he stayed very positive about what he needed to learn to improve and grow and get better, and learned how to play the next play, and he's done a fantastic job for us. And I think the team has a lot of confidence in him. He's become a leader, and we're really excited that he's given us an opportunity to get where we want to go.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All about the opportunities. Nick Saban always reminds them of that. He said this week, it's time to make a choice. Who knows what happens from here? What happens right now is you play for the SEC championship. Jalen Milroe was the star, Katie.
Yes, he was, Tess. Jalen, you're the first player in Alabama history to account for 3 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns. When you think about this season and the way you're playing right now, what makes you most proud?
What makes me most proud is how much we had to go through as far as adversity and our grit. I think that's the biggest thing about this football team is that we have not given up. With all the things that we've gone through, I'm just having fun with the guys. That's pretty much what it's gone down to. And then also with Coach Saban and Coach Reese trusting in me to play the position. So I thank them to allow me to perform and allow me to be the best quarterback I can be.
You told me this week your greatest strength is your mental and physical toughness. How's that left thigh?
It hurts, but hey, the biggest thing was getting the win and playing the guys and doing my job as much as possible. So the thigh will be all right. It was all about winning.
Have fun in a couple weeks in Atlanta.
Thank you. Roll Tide!
Oh, they're rolling, Jalen. Don't you worry about that. But that is exactly, that answer there tells you all you need to know.
He's going to need an ice bath after today, but he did it with his arm as much as with his legs. He was laser focused through the air, accurate downfield, on schedule and off schedule. And really, the development of this offense under Tommy Reese, the last couple weeks of using the design quarterback runs has completely changed how you have to defend him, makes him really dangerous.
And not just because of what it means with the run game, not just because he's the fastest player on the team, that he could be a star tailback, because of what it does in opening up the passing lanes, of how the defense has to account for him, and it makes life much easier as a passer.
Yeah, that first touchdown, right? You're playing close to the line of scrimmage because you think he might run. A couple of those times outside the pocket, guys are like, well, I got to come off my guy because he could score on me too. Throws it over the top. He's a nightmare, and it feels like this team maybe a team of destiny, peaking at the right time now with another opportunity in the SEC championship.
And he's having fun. He cited that there. He's smiling all game long. Adversity, grit, not giving up. This is not the Bama team we saw in mid-September. This is a team that took the SEC West and will play for it all in Atlanta. 49-21. We got Oklahoma State and UCF next. For Katie and